He was stalking 2,400 women that we know.
Nobody was safe from him. There were no bounds. He was throughout the whole state of Ohio.
A sexual predator whose dangerous obsession would lead to rape and torture.
He was very meticulous at his crime scene. It wasn't like a crime of passion, and he was real sloppy and left a lot of evidence.
He doesn't fit the criminal profile at all. He's the father, the husband, the civil servant. He's the kind of guy that you look up to.
He's the boogeyman.
Who was this man, and why was he stalking the women of Cleveland? In September of 1999, Brian Kilroy decides to spend Labor Day weekend with his mother at her apartment in Lakewood, Ohio. Sunday night, he is sleeping on the couch when an intruder breaks into the house.
Oh, shit, I was terrified. I was woken up out of my sleep. There's a man holding a knife in my back. He looked like a prowler, you know. He come in there, sweatshirt and a black stocking pulled over his face.
He yelled at me, put your hands behind your back, put your hands behind your back. And I grabbed onto his wrist, rolled him off the couch, smashed the coffee table, just drilling him. He stabbed me in the arm once there.
I found the butt of the broken glass while we were fighting. I was grinding that in the back of his head for a while. I guess it put him to bleeding pretty bad.
What amazed me was on this brown carpet, pools of blood.
When Carol Ann Danielchek-Senka, the Kilroy's upstairs neighbor, hears Brian calling for help, she comes downstairs.
I saw him sitting on a man dressed in black. Brian had his arms outstretched and he was pinning him to the floor. Brian knew he was in a fight for his life. Brian kept saying, call the police, so I dialed 911 real quick.
911. Send someone right away to 2116 Warren Road. We have trouble here, please.
What's going on?
Please come. There's someone in the house trying to kill somebody, please.
Is there weapons there?
Gun in his hand. A knife in his hand.
Brian kept saying, he's got a knife, get the knife.
She's like, how? I hand her the vase, and it's like, pop, you know, beat his hand until he drops the knife. So she started doing that.
He finally let go of it, and I hit it with the bottle, and it shot clear across the room. And that's when he started to whimper. Let me go, man, let me go, man. Come on, man, let me go.
Fat chance of that happened at this point, you know. Then the police walked in when they pulled the mask off his face. He still couldn't recognize him. I mean, he was bleeding so bad. And inside the mask, I mean, his whole head was saturated with blood.
He asked me if I knew who he was, and I looked at him and said I didn't think his mother would recognize him because he was a mess.
The intruder isn't carrying any identification and refuses to answer any questions. So who is this man in black? And why, the police want to know, did he attack Brian Kilroy?
And they're running down the list about, you know, who have you pissed off? Who did, you know, why would somebody come in here and try to kill you? And it's like, well, it's just, I'm trying to think. It's like, I really don't think anybody at the time, you know, you never know. But who would know I was there? Because I didn't tell nobody I was going home to Mom's.
With no answers, the police take Kilroy and his attacker to the hospital. Brian Kilroy is treated and released. His attacker is taken into custody. Meanwhile, police search the neighborhood looking for clues to the attacker's identity. While checking the registrations of cars parked in the area, police come across a minivan parked a block away from the Kilroy apartment. In the van is a driver's license matching the intruder. His name is Thomas McCarthy. Also in the van are a badge and ID card identifying McCarthy as a Cleveland firefighter. But why would a firefighter break into the house of a stranger? Detective Jim Sacco of the Lakewood Police Department is the primary investigator.
I mean, it wasn't over a girl. It wasn't fighting over, you know, a dispute over money or property or something. That this was pretty involved, pretty thought out, premeditated, and we didn't know why.
As police search the van, they make a puzzling discovery.
We found these papers, pieces of cups, pieces of napkins with what appeared to be license plates, and there was a legal pad with women's names on it and what appeared to be a coding system as to a rating kind of thing. You know, and at this point, we're not sure exactly what this all means, but there's tons of this stuff, and it's all over. It's in garbage bags, it's in napkins, it's on scraps of paper, it's on pieces of mail, it's on a side of a styrofoam cup, all these names and numbers or vehicle with a license plate, that kind of thing.
When Sacco contacts the Cleveland Fire Department, he learns that McCarthy, an 18-year veteran, is well respected by his colleagues.
He was just a good person and a good fireman.
Police also learn that McCarthy is 43, married, the father of 2 children, and on the side he owns an aquarium cleaning business. But early on in the inquiry, police also get their first clue that the career firefighter dedicated to helping others has a dark side. 12 years earlier, in 1987, McCarthy had been following 2 women home from a bar when he tried to run their car off the road.
At this point, we're realizing that, coming to realize is that this is probably not the first time he's done this.
Lakewood police decide to search McCarthy's locker at the firehouse.
Searching those, we find articles from newspapers dealing with women, locations, addresses, sort of somewhat of the same nature of coding them.
Armed with another warrant, police search McCarthy's home and find more women's names and license plate numbers on a computer disk.
We're pretty much thinking, hey, this guy looks like he's stalking these women, or he's doing something, because there's just such a volume of information about women that would not be anything related to an aquarium business or the fire department or anything else that would be a legitimate purpose.
McCarthy is still not talking, but when police interview Brian's sister Peggy, who lives in the apartment with her mother, she tells them about a frightening experience that she had a week earlier in a grocery store.
Every aisle that I'd go down, I'd see him. And then I was already on the other side of the store, and he was there again. So I thought, okay, I grabbed everything I needed, and I went up to the checkout counter, and I didn't see him then. And then I was in my car, and I'm heading home, and I looked in my rearview mirror, and I saw him behind me. And when the light turned green, he went straight, and I turned into my side street. I knew exactly who it was when my brother said that there was somebody in the house.
She felt this fellow was following her, that she recalled that he had a fire shirt on, had with a logo on it, which at the time we were speaking with her, that information was not made known to her.
With Peggy Kilroy, police now have a link between McCarthy and the attack on Brian Kilroy.
When we realized what's going on, we put out a teletype advising that we have this male in custody, appears to be a stalker, and if anybody had information regarding a similar crime, that they should contact us.
When we return, the names on McCarthy's list trigger a massive police investigation leading to new victims.